In this section, we are going to take a look at how to add questions to the quiz activity that we created in the previous video. After setting the quiz, you can go ahead to add questions to the quiz. To do this, click on the name of the quiz activity you have created from the course page. After clicking on the quiz, you will be taken to the quiz page. Note that you can also click on the Edit Quiz from the administration block as shown below. From here, click on the Edit Quiz button. This will take you to the Editing Quiz page where you can add the question. On the Editing Quiz page, click Add. This gives you 3 different ways to add questions to the quiz that you have created. That is the Add a New Question from the question bank and Add a Random Question. Let's begin with the first one, the Add a New Question option. Clicking on this option gives you the option to add a question to the quiz by typing the question directly, one after the other. From here, you first have to choose the question type, either multiple choice questions, true or false, or any of the options available here. I will go with the true or false option. And click on Add. This will take you to the Add Question page. Here you can choose the category, so I will go with default for end of first semester exams. And under the question name, I can type 1. Note that the question name is just equivalent to the question number in the traditional classroom setting. In subsequent videos, we will also look at how to create categories for questions. Then the question text area. This is where you type the exact question. For example, I can type a question like, "Has this tutorial been very useful?" After typing the question, I can specify the mark I want to award to the question here, but I will leave it at 1 mark for now. I can also use the general feedback text area to specify what feedback I want to give to the students on these questions, but I will skip it for this question. I will also skip the ID number. The most important thing here after typing the question is setting the correct answer. So for this question, I will set my answer to true because I know this tutorial has been useful. I will skip the rest of the options and proceed to save the changes. Now I can preview the question by clicking on this, so that you see how it appears. Alright, it looks good, so I can close it for now. Now we are going to add a second question. Still on the Editing Quiz page, click Add and then select from the question bank. This option requires that you have already added a question to your question bank. Don't worry about that for now, as we will look at adding a question to the question bank in the next session. Clicking on the Add Questions from the bank gives you this pop-up. Next, from here, select the category of questions, that is, if you have categorized your questions, and then select the individual questions under the category that you wish to add to your quiz. For this exam, I will choose this category, Exams Visually Impaired Students. And this 30 indicates that this category has 30 questions. Then from here, you can select the question that you want to add to the quiz. For this example, I want to add all the 30 questions, so I will click on this to select all. Then I will click on Add Selected Questions to the quiz. Lastly, we can take a look at the third option by clicking on Add Again, and then select a random question. This is similar to the previous one, just that this randomly selects a specified number of questions from the question bank. For this example, I will select the Visually Impaired Students quiz, which has 72 questions. And over here I will select the number of questions that I want the system to randomly select for each student out of the total 72 questions. So for this example, I will choose 29. That is, for each student I want the system to randomly select 29 questions from this category of 72 questions. This might be useful if you have students in a class taking a quiz at the same time, because they are unlikely to get the same questions at the same time. Next, we'll scroll down and click on the Add Random Question button to add the questions to the quiz activity. Finally, before we end this video, let's look at a few important things here. After adding all your questions, you can see the total marks here, in my case 60. You can also assign some of the questions higher marks. For instance, I can assign this question a mark of 2, just by clicking here and typing 2, and then pressing on the Enter key to save it. Doing this takes the marks to 61 as seen here. But for now, I reverse it to 1 mark. Also, for the maximum grade, you can specify the marks that the quiz is to be scaled to or marked over. For instance, although it has a total of 60 questions for 60 marks, I can type 100 here. This will mean I want the total activity to be converted to 100 instead of the original 60. Don't forget to click on Save once you type the maximum grade here, else the changes will not take effect. Finally, you can check this shuffle option to instruct the system to shuffle the question for each student. That means that someone's question 1 can be the next person's question 23. That's all for this video, but before we end, let's preview what we have done so far by selecting Preview from the administration block here. So this is how the students will see the exams when they are taking it. They can navigate freely by clicking on the question number here, or using the Next Page button down here. In the next video, we will look at how to add questions to the question bank.